We do not get the access token in the query string, rather we get the code, and code is only one time 10 minutes short lived parameter which we need to use to get token in the backend application. State is state, it we can send anything in request if we want to track the request, and it will give us back on the redirect call. Redirect URI is our redirect URI, where the application will return after the authentication is successful. And then the client ID is the client ID, which will tell the Google who are we getting this access. So let me save all this and one second, sorry. Yeah, and rerun the application. A few seconds it's taking to load. It's loading. Yeah. So this application has run. I will press this button and it will do the magic. Let's start. Authenticate. Yeah, it has redirected me to the Google. You see, our company name is here, blue coding, something like this. And this is the same which we created the application for. I will select my account. And yeah, this is asking the same thing. App is not verified. Obviously, it's not verified. And I have access because I am the developer account. So I will, and they have also given my credential here, like the developer, and they will tell the user my email, who is this requesting person, and we have to say continue and then continue again. Yeah, now it's asking what the access this application is requiring. So this is requiring this access, like edit, share, and permanently delete all the calendars. So I will say okay, and two of the access are disabled because these are the public information access, so which does not require any permission, like it's simple as user. And I will say continue. Okay, we see the request has returned back to our application and we got this bulky long string. So let's copy this and see what does it have. I will take it to here, let's say in a new tab. Okay, so this is basically it redirected to our application with the state, which is nothing. And this is the code parameter. If you see it here, this is what we need actually till here. I will copy this. Other than that, it will return the same scopes to us for which we requested this, and prompt is consent, like user has given us consent, but we needed the code. Having this code, what we need to do in our application backend, we need to send the request to the Google servers to retrieve the access token. Remember, we have only 10 minutes, else this code will get expired, and this code can be used only one time. So I go to the Postman. You see, I have already set some endpoint, but the value will set it now. So this is called the Google token endpoint. So this one, we will send a post request, and here there is a JSON body. So we need to send it. We need to send the Google the code, the same we just retrieved, and then the client ID. This should be the ID we already used for our app. Client secret. This is the password actually, and while the client ID is a public key, and then redirect URI should be the same which used in the request to retrieve this code, and then grant type authorization code tells the Google that I am sending you the code to give me all the other detail. Let's replace all this information now here, and we need to have this one client ID and secret because others is some old testing I was doing. Yeah, yeah. Everything is okay, and I believe 10 minutes haven't passed. So let's send this request. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, so we have received a bunch of other details along with this access token. Like we have access token, expiry time. Usually this gives 60 minutes. Refresh token we have. This is something at this point we will save in our database, because whenever we need to get another access token, we cannot ask the user every time to log in. So for the next 180 days, this is valid. We can get the access token whenever we want. We have other information like which scope we use for this request, and our type is bearer, and this is the ID of the token, which does not be used anywhere. This can be only for the record keeping purpose. As of now, as we are not saving anything in database, and this demo is the basic level integration, so we will only use this access token. But in a real time application, we need to use this refresh token. Yeah, so here I copy this access token, and yes. Yeah, sure. 1 hour, how many? Any number of. But for the one user, if you get a new access token, old will be expired automatically. No, refresh token will never expire until or unless user will revoke it in their Google account. I will show you how it can be revoked. Yep. Yep. Otherwise, this is for 180 days from the day you fetched it. Yes. Yeah. Only if they never used it, like today I use it, and after, let's say, 1 month, I again log in and not log in, I use my integration. So my refresh token is once used to get the access token, so from that time another 6 months. So if there is a person regular user, it will never expire. You use the Google products in your browser, you never need to log in them until consecutive 6 months are passed, which are not the case very frequent. So we are always logged in. Okay, okay, thank you. So here, let's go back to the presentation once. So where are we? I need to. After the setting develop, we have set the Google Cloud Console setup and also authentication and permission. This is something we have done right now. And as I explained there in details, so this is just a summary of the steps, like we redirected to authentication URL from our single page app in the Visual Studio, and we exchange the authentication code received from the Google to retrieve the access token and other credential parameters. This access token will be used to perform all other calendar operations. So as a next step, we will call the user info endpoint to retrieve the email address associated with the user. So let's see it working in the actual development environment. So here we see we actually retrieve the access token. Now I have 1 hour to use this token. Remember, if you keep using this token, let's say unlimited times, it won't make a difference. After 60 minutes, it will expire. Let's say you are using this, and after next 45 minutes, you are still using, but now you have only 15 minutes left. And the application is built such a way, every time access token is being used, it's validated by, there is a Google validation endpoint. And if it is not valid, we get the new token from the refresh token. But I believe in our case, it will not expire. We already have a less time. So first we need to get the user info. This is the next endpoint. And remember, I am using this Postman. This is a handy tool. You can get the JSON, and you can try with any type of application you have. I didn't use the Visual Studio because that C sharp will be specific with only one type of development environment. So that is why I choose this. Now here, this endpoint is a simple GET request, and I need to pass the token here in this. And when I call this, I should get this user info. Let me set it. Yeah, I got it. I have some other information, but main is the email. Why we need the email? We need the email because the user has logged in the system, and we actually don't know who the user is. From the UI, Google never tells who is. The UI is redirected to our app. Now from this point, we get the email and save in our database. Also remember, the email address is the ID of our primary calendar. I will show you in the UI now. This is the calendar of mine. So today is 18 July. And you see, here is a list of my calendars. This is Muhammad Rizwan, family, tasks, task Krizu, holidays, blah, blah, blah. This main Muhammad Rizwan, if I uncheck things go, this is my primary calendar, which everybody uses. But any number of calendar can be created, 5, 10, any names can be added, and we can get the ID of every calendar. But the primary calendar ID is the user email. So this is the scope of our today's course. But if we want to communicate with the other calendars, we can get the list of all and talk to their IDs. So I just get the ID of my primary calendar using this user info. So let's go back to our change. No, there is nothing like change. Calendar does not change. I have any number of calendar. They are all showing here their data. Now it's up to me. No, this is cannot be done. Only my email is my primary calendar. All right, but I can have the events, all of them are showing the same time. But if you do not give a right ID to the API, it will give you the result respective to the ID you give in the request. All right, so yeah, let's go here. A minute. Yeah, so let me go back to the presentation here. So this authentication and permission step we have completed, and if we go to the next step, this is the core calendar operations. So there are four calendar operations, that is read, create, update, and delete. Google Calendar mainly has events. So using API, we can do all of the above operations and process them in our application as per the business need, like viewing users calendar, adding an appointment, sending some kind of invite. We will dive deep into performing these operations using the Postman, the tool we are using. So I think we can move on. Here, I will open this. After getting the user info, I know my email address, my primary calendar. At this point, let's try with the operation reading the calendar. Yeah, I click here. I have already set up the endpoint, but it's very simple. So the URL is like the same googleapis.com and then calendar. And I give this ID as my calendar ID here. If the ID will be different, like for the other calendar, the IDs are some random string like this, I will give it here. But now it's my primary calendar ID. And then the events endpoint. This is a GET request. And before this, from the last point, we need to copy this access token to supply this. So yeah, mirror token. I will need to pass it here. I will send the request and let's see what comes out. Oh, there is something there. So this is the data coming from my calendar. Remember, this data is random and there are many filters available. I can set in the query string to tell them from which to which date you need to send me the data, and everything is possible. But as of now, the random, I believe, 200 event it sends in the request. So we'll check what it is. Let's copy one event here and try to understand what we have in the JSON. So I copy this. I go to my Visual Studio JSON file. I just created a simple one here and I paste this data. So this is something when you fetch the event list. So you get all of many events here in your calendar. So, but let's check the one what we have. So these are the properties we will get in the event. Like it will tell us kind. Now kind means we have event. I think we have a reminder. These are the two kinds. We have also tasks and many things and keep, but those are using Google Keep API.